Hey, are you trying to learn Python and you're tired of those never-ending Python tutorials and you kind of feel lost in between? Don't worry, I hear you. And as a matter of fact, I've been in your shoes and I understand the struggle of following those long hours of tutorials. That's why today, in this course, I want to show you a way better method for learning Python. I want to teach you Python through 60 challenges. The challenge-based method used in this course helps you evaluate your understanding of each topic I teach you and make sure you're on the right track to master Python. So without any further ado, let's do it. Hello guys, so let's start our very first lesson in this tutorial. In this tutorial, I want to talk about some topics, including print function and basic data types in Python and how we can actually play with data in Python. And also I want to talk about the input function. To implement my Python code, I'm using Jupyter Notebook. If you have no idea what is Jupyter Notebook and you're not sure which notebook you got to use, just put it in the comment down below of this video. So I can create another video about how you can install Jupyter Notebook and how you can use it, and also talk about some basic functions in this notebook. I just prefer Jupyter because I think it's very easy to work with, and that capability I can actually run every single line of code. It's very comfortable for me, so that's why I'm using this notebook. Anyway, I just want to say you can use any other IDE if you want to. So the first thing I want to talk about, which is going to be the first function we want to use in Python, is print function. And for the print function, what we need to do, we need to write down the term print, open parenthesis, then we should put quotation here. Let's say what I want to print is, hi, this is the first lesson of Python. So you gotta press Shift Enter or Shift Return in Mac. So here we go. That's what we print here. Hi, this is the first lesson of Python. Okay, so now if you wanna write hi in one line and write down the rest of this sentence, in the second line, we can use \n. For instance, I can just copy the same code and print it here and put it and paste it here. Then here, after hi, what I can do \n. And now, if I do the print, as you can see, it just printed in 2 lines. So I can capitalize. There we go. Also, I want to talk about f-string formatting in Python. For instance, in Python, you want to say the result of calculation, is, that's okay, 5. I forgot to put quotation mark. And you want to print this. But the thing is, when you're writing your code, you're not sure what is the result of your calculation. So you want to keep this as a variable, as something unknown. That's where you can use f-string formatting, right? So what you can do, you can say, for instance, you can put your result into x, and let's assume your result is 10, which could be obtained at the end of your calculation. And then you can use print function again. You open and you put the letter F, a quotation mark, then you can say the result. I have a lot of typo, don't worry. The result of calculation is, open bracket, and you put X here. And let's implement this code and see what happens. Oops, there's an error here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to close the quotation mark. There we go. The result of calculation is 10. So what the f-string formatting does here is, like, for this part, it used the exact wording we used. But for this part, which was kind of unknown to us when we were writing the code, it uses this variable, which we defined here. So the f-string formatting is very useful when you're writing code, especially, as I said, when you're not sure what should be the result of something and you want to print it at the end to the user. So you can use f-string formatting, and the more you work with Python, the more you understand how useful this function is. Okay, that's enough for the print. Let's get to the basic data types in Python. In Python, we have 5 basic data types. Let's start with integers. Integers. So integers are any integer value you use, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you may ask, okay, how can you understand the data type of a value? So you can use a function for that purpose. I'm going to go to the next line. So if you wonder how I go to the next line, I go here and I just press plus. Okay. So I can write down type. Oops. And if I put 1 here, okay, here, it shows me the type of this data I'm using is int, which is a kind of abbreviation of integer. The next data type is float. So float. Float simply includes any number with decimal that you use. For instance, it could be 1.2, 1.4, 1. Let's not stick to 1, 6.7. So again, I can use the type to see what is the type of here. Type, open parenthesis, and I put 1.2. And I should see float, right? The next one is complex numbers. So if you're not very familiar with like mathematics and you're just wondering what is complex numbers, just don't bother just understanding what it is. But like this is one of the data types that actually can be used in Python. But I assume like you rarely use these data types in your coding. But just for the sake of knowing like this is one of the data types in Python, I'm just gonna teach it. So the complex number, for instance, could be like complex numbers. For instance, 2 plus 3j. And so if I put, again, type here, oops, if I put 2 plus 3j, let's see what happens. So you can see the complex. So it shows like the data types is known as a complex. The next one is a string, which is very important. String. So anything you put between those quotation marks is a string. For instance, I'm a nice person. I mean, I hope so. So that's a string. So if I put this one, this sentence, oops, inside a type function, just gonna copy and paste it. Control C, Control V. There you go. It shows it's a string. So if we go back to our print function here, hi, this message, hi, this is the first lesson of Python. The Python knows this line of code as a string, right? Okay. The other data type is the Boolean, which deals with true and false situation. For instance, Boolean. Sorry. Yep. So here, for instance, you can say 2 greater than 3. The result of this, if I just, you can say the result of this is just implement this line of code is false because 2 is not greater than 3. And if I put 2 less than 3, the result should be true. The false and true are the Boolean data types that you would deal with. For instance, if I put type 2 less than 3, as you can see, I get the type bool, which is the abbreviated version of the Boolean. So done with the data types, we go back to playing with data, which is more fun here. So let's get to the playing with data in Python. So we can play with data. For instance, if I put x equals 92. So as I said, the Python knows 92 as an integer, right? So if I put down type x, oops, sorry, I didn't print this. So now the Python knows it as an integer, right? So what I can do, I can have also a y equals, I don't know, you tell me, 8, right? So if I implement it here, if I put down type here, if I put down type, oops, type y, again, it's integer, so what I can do, I can add these two numbers. So I can say x plus y, oops, y, implement. So 92 plus 8, 100, great. Can I do subtraction? Of course I can, so I can do x minus y, implement 84, so that's great. Can I do multiplication? Well, no brainer. I can do that, x times y, implement 736. If you doubt me, you do the calculation, I'm pretty sure it is. Also, I can do the subtraction. Sorry, I can do the division, which is, for instance, x divided by y. So 11.5. There's also another version of division, which we can use here. For instance, if I put x /y, // do the same division that we do in the division, which we did in the previous line, but instead of getting us the value with decimal, it gives us the integer value. For instance, if I do this x /y, it just gives me 11 as the value, which means it removes the decimal parts. For instance, if I do 9 divided by 2, you tell me what should be the answer. Yeah, it gives me 4, because 4 times 2, 8. If I just do the division with one character, it's 4.5. So when I do two of the division characters, it just removes the decimal part. So simple as that. So that was the playing with data. Oh, another thing I want to talk about playing with data is something called concatenation or concatenate. What does it mean? For instance, if I define my, let's say, Q equals to mem, which is my nickname. Just going to use the capital, and P equals as a nice person. That's what I hope so. Then what I can do print Q plus P and print. So it says mem is a nice person. You can see like there is no space between mem and is. There's two words. So what I can do, I can create a space, and the way I can create a space, I can do another plus here, and just the space I create, and again. So now we have a space. Mem is a nice person. So that's a concatenation that you can usually do for strings, and also sometimes you can do for the numbers as well. But the good thing is, like in Python, which is a very easy language to work with, you can use this plus sign even for the strings, and that's what we call concatenation. The last part I want to talk about is the input function, which is also an important function. If you're doing coding with Python, you want to get some input from the users, and you want to use that input. For instance, you want to say the value, so include input. So this is the input function, open parenthesis. You can ask the user to enter a number. Please enter a number. And yeah, so what you do here, so you can see is it like now you have one command, please input a number, and I can put a number into this box. I say 12, and that's it. And if I ask value here, the Python shows me 12. But here's the thing. When you enter the value 12, you may think, okay, this 12 should be integer, but the input function gets the value as a string. What do I mean? So now if I ask Python, what is the type of this value? Oops, sorry. Oh my God. Yeah. It says it's a string. So I can do summation or multiplication with this value using it as an integer. What do I mean? I mean, let's say if I multiply value by 12, as I was expecting that the Python consider it as an integer, I expect 144 because 12 times 12 should be 144. But instead, what Python does, because the Python see this value as a string, it just multiplied. It put 12 string of 12s next to each other. So let's see. So 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. If I want to get 144, I gotta let Python know that I want this value to be integer. How I can do that? I can use some function called integer function. So I put int here. So you can see int open parenthesis. Then I close parenthesis here. Now I implement the line of code again. I put 12 again here, enter, and now I'm getting 144. In this case, and if I do the type value, now Python knows it as an integer because I used the int function. Okay, that was it for today, for this lesson, and I'm gonna quickly head to the first challenge for you guys. Hopefully you find this tutorial very helpful. So I'm looking forward to see you into the next one. Bye. Hello. So we get to the first challenge of the first lesson of this tutorial. It's very special for us. It's a very easy challenge, but I don't promise it's going to be the same for the following challenges. Just kidding. So in this challenge, I want you to ask Python for the total price of a restaurant bill. Let's assume you went to a restaurant and you're done with the dinner and it's time for asking for the bill. I want you to ask Python to do that for you. So that's the first part of the challenge. The second part of the challenge is to ask Python, that how many people were at the dinner. So that's the second part of the challenge. And the last part of the challenge is to ask Python to do the calculation and show me what's the share of each person. And please ask Python to do it without showing the decimal. Just show the whole number. Yeah, that's it. Good luck with your challenge and see you in the next lesson. Bye.